Welcome back. All right, so I said Buffalo games are always exciting. Today's game, no different. Now, I thought they had a chance to beat Boston in regulation. The Sabres, the counterattack is just so deadly, as the Bruins found out today. And for Chicago and Columbus, I labeled this one as the Bedard Bowl because realistically, neither of these teams are making the playoffs. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to start off talking about Buffalo and Boston. And honestly, I like the Sabres. I know that it is hard to get into the playoffs in the East, but I like the Sabres. Luukkonen versus Swayman in this one. Too many Bruins on the ice, so the Sabres get a power play. Shorthanded Frederick Rush. He bowls over Luukkonen, so he's getting a goalie interference call there. Dahlin stands up for his goalie, so that makes it one each going off the ice, so it stays 5-on-4. Then there's a shorthanded Zacha chance. He fires wide. The power play's killed off. No shots by Buffalo on that power play. There's a near miss for Krejci in the slot. Cousins has a shot. That's held. Foligno's denied on a deke in close. The shots on net are only 2-1 for the Bruins at 6.5 minutes. This is a game where I don't think the shots tell the whole story. Bergeron fires one high. The Bruins press. McAvoy has a shot that's held. The Sabres press are kept to the outside. And then Pastrnak scores at 13:09 from Krejci and Zacha. I thought Zacha was offside. I was surprised they didn't call it. On the entry, I said, well, that looks offside. But no challenge, so the Bruins get that, and then they get a power play shortly after. There was a shorthanded break for Krebs. That's denied. Power play's killed off. Marchand's then denied as it comes to an end. And then Buffalo ties it at 16-13, and it's a turnover. And it's kind of tucked around Swayman by Thompson. Skinner with the assist at 16-13. Cousins then has a net drive that's held, and the Sabres press with a minute and a half left. So after the first period, the score's 1-1. Second period, Bruins have a rush that fizzles out, and then Zacha has a chance that's saved. Lindholm has a shot that deflects out as well. And then Tuck would score from Lyubushkin at 2:03. The Sabres look for another as the crowd have been quieted in Boston. Buffalo coming out and playing well. Bruins get zone time. They can't get to the net. Jost has a shot that deflects out. Net feed to DeBrusk then is picked off. The shots are only 2-1 for the Bruins at 8 minutes, but there's a lot of chances. Just a lot of blocks and not a lot getting to the net at that point in the game. Grzelcyk fires one wide on a rush. Pastrnak fires one high. The Bruins press, but they take a penalty in the offensive zone that ends that press. There's a shorthanded rush by Marchand, that's saved, and then a shorthanded chance for Coyle that was held. Both teams very dangerous shorthanded today. Things get punchy after a hold by Swayman. That's killed off. Okposo has a rush chance that's saved. DeBrusk can't bury one in close. And then Carlo has a blast that's kicked aside. After two periods, the score's 2-1 for Buffalo. Third period. Good back and forth early in this one. Power play then for the Sabres. Quinn has a one-timer that's saved. Thompson's denied as the power play comes to an end. Hall to Krejci, near miss there. Hall's then denied as the Bruins would press, and they get a power play, and they score. Great cycle, and they bury it. It's Bergeron from Marchand and DeBrusk at 5:16. Thompson nearly answers. Frederick and Zacha were then denied at the other end. Carlo wires one high. The Bruins with some momentum. The shots are 5-4 for Boston, 9.5 minutes into the period. Zacha can't bury one on a net drive, but then Marchand on a breakaway puts it in. He had just come onto the ice. Lots of energy. He scores from Pastrnak and Krejci at 12:25. So it's 3-2 for Boston, but Buffalo fights back. Dahlin has a blast that's held. Carlo exits after taking a high stick. So there's 4 minutes with 6:36 left. That becomes a 5-on-3 for the first 2 minutes. So this is the game. Pasternak's robbed in alone. The 5-on-3 gets killed off. There's a shorthanded chance for Jost. That's held. Marchand has a chance that's held, and the Sabres kill it off. Well, Luukkonen kills that off. Luukkonen was fantastic today. Goalie pull with 2 minutes left. Dahlin saves an empty net goal attempt by Pastrnak and then goes the other way. Cousins at 18:23 ties the game from Tuck and Dahlin. So Tuck and Cousins, I've talked about that before. It sounds wrong, you know. What's up with them? Well, they're Tuck and Cousins? Really? So we go to overtime. Sabres control early. The Bruins take over. Pastrnak couldn't bury one. Again, just the chances that Boston had that just don't go in this one. Sabres rush. Power couldn't bury one at the other end. There's a net feed to Zacha, near miss there. Thompson has a chance that's defended. And then Cousins steals from Bergeron. Think about that. Bergeron with the puck and Cousins takes it, goes the other way, and he passes it to, that's right, Tuck. Tuck scores from Cousins at 3:53. So Tuck and Cousins ties it, and Tuck and Cousins wins it. Your final score is 4-3 in overtime for Buffalo. So they're 18-14-2 with the win. For Boston, they're still undefeated in regulation at home. They're now 18-0-3, but they're 28-4-4 overall. Pretty good record, I guess. The shots 10-9 Buffalo in the first, 11-6 Boston in the third, 19-8 Boston in the, or 11-6 Boston in the second, 19-8 Boston in the third. Both teams have a shot in the overtime. Buffalo is the one that matters. Final shots 40-25 in favor of the Boston Bruins. Power plays Buffalo 0 for 3, Boston 1 for 5. The hits 30-27 in favor of Boston. Luukkonen saves 37 out of 40. He was fantastic. Swayman saves 21 out of 25. The last two goals I know are going to make his save percentage not look great. The tying goal, yeah, he may want that one back, but honestly, I thought both goaltenders played well today. Just Luukkonen was fantastic. All right. And the other game, the one that I'm sure everybody's going to want to see, and I'm wearing Columbus because I don't get very many opportunities to wear a Columbus jersey. Interestingly enough, they've won 11 games. This is the fourth time I've worn their jersey when they've won. They don't win often. So Stalock versus Korpisalo. Columbus was turning it over early. The shots are 3-1 for the Hawks 2.5 minutes in. The Hawks having won this matchup 8 days ago. Dickinson fires one wide on a rush. Kane to Domi. There's a near miss there. Sillinger whiffs on one as Columbus presses. Boquist has a shot that deflects out. There's a press by Columbus at the half. Domi's getting booed. They must have heard about what Domi said about how people want to come visit him in Chicago at the holidays, and they didn't in Columbus. I understand that was kind of taken out of context, but either way, the fan's not happy. He even stood up and kind of, waved to them. Athanasiou scores from Phillips at 11:33 to put Chicago in the lead. Chicago was playing well. Columbus tries to answer. Nyquist has a shot that's held. Robinson has a tip shot that's saved as the Hawks are now the ones turning the puck over. Power play for Columbus. That becomes 4-on-4 for 40 seconds. Everything's killed off there. There's a press by Columbus with 3 minutes left. Domi and Goodbranson are unfriendly. I think it's because Domi gave him one of those ones that whizzed past his ear and kind of laughed about it. Goodbranson didn't appreciate it. They were beaking off at each other at various other points in the game too. Not all players are going to get along. There will be times when players genuinely don't like each other. So Bemstrom fires one wide on a 2-on-1, and then with 1:31 left, the Jackets go back to the power play. They score on this one. It's Bemstrom from Gaudreau and Boquist at 18:40. So after the first period, the score is 1-1. Second period, early power play for the Hawks. Seth Jones misses a puck while he's talking to the ref. I don't know how that happens. It's just one of those things where I'm like, wait, what happened? He's talking to the ref, having a conversation, and he misses the fact the puck's... Man, there's times to talk to the official when you're playing, isn't it? So that's killed off, but the Hawks go right back to the power play. The Hawks can't get set up, though, and Columbus scores shorthanded. It's Nyquist from Roslovic at 3:50. The Jackets then finish the kill. Roslovic couldn't bury one on a break. Columbus had a power play, and then it's rescinded because the high stick was a Columbus player on a Columbus player. So I think he high sticked himself. Either way, the fans weren't happy that it was taken away. The shots though were 9-3 for Columbus with 9.5 minutes left. They just kept going. Bemstrom fires one wide on a rush. The Hawks press with 7.5 minutes left. Stalock holds a Kent Johnson shot after Stalock had turned it over, so he bails himself out there. The Hawks press draws them a fourth power play with 2:27 left, but Columbus kills that off and no shots. So it's not like Chicago's getting any momentum from these either. Marchenko would then score on a rush and a great pass by Gaudreau, who's now 10 games into a goalless drought, but he's getting points. The other assist to Bayreuther at 19:57. So after the second period, it is 3-1 for Columbus. Third period, Columbus draws an early power play. Gaudreau has a blast that's held. Meyer then had a shot deflect out. That power play's killed off. Bjork has a shot that's blocked. We get some pushing after that. Lafferty fires one wide on a turnover. Gaudreau gets taken down in a rush. I was surprised there was no call there, but there wasn't. I didn't see the replay to see whether or not there was an actual trip, but it didn't look good. But either way, no call there. The shots are 4 apiece at 9 minutes. Columbus presses with 6.5 minutes left. 2.5 minutes left. The Hawks go back to the power play. They immediately pull the goaltender because they have to score here. Instead, Kane has a shot that's held, and really, Korpisalo, no rebounds from him today. None. Very, very tidy goaltending. 50.6 seconds left. The Hawks call a timeout. Whatever they called doesn't work. The empty net's hit by Nyquist from Corrali at 19:21. Columbus wins this one 4-1. So for the Bedard Bowl, Chicago wins 4-1 because by losing, they get closer to that number one pick in all likelihood. The Chicago Blackhawks drop to 8-23-4. For Columbus, it's their first win in 8. And keeping in mind they lost to Chicago a week ago, they saw that they had to make amends. They better their record to 11, 22, and 2. The shots in this one, 15-9 Columbus in the first, 14-5 Columbus in the second. Chicago fights back in the third. They outshoot Columbus 13-9. The final shots are 38-27 for the Blue Jackets. Power play, Chicago 0 for 5, Columbus 1 for 3. The hits 20-19 for Columbus. Stalock 34 saves on 37 shots. Korpisalo 26 saves on 27 shots. So with that win, Columbus pulls itself out of last place on the power rankings board, and Chicago's right back. So, I mean, it's a spoiler, but is it really? I mean, is it really? All right, there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.